Morning, this is Brian. Today is Thursday, July 9th, 2026, and I'm here at the Lakeside Linkage Preserve. This will be my second time here. First time in a good few years. Parked right here on Los Coches. So I'm going to try to get up to a spot that I visited once before back at the end of 2023, and it's up to Fit 2 benchmark. See how that goes today. Go up there, and then I might explore a little bit of the back part of the preserve, and if energy is with me, I might try to go up there to Hill 980 again. Other place I visited a couple years ago. Could either hike up there, walk along surface streets, or I could just get in my car, make a U-turn, and go up that way to Wellington Hill Drive, which is a couple of short blocks up from here. We'll see. Yeah, I did a hike up to here and all the way to the Whitaker House back in 2023. I don't know if I'll go as far as the Whitaker House, but we'll see. I might actually take some back trails to get up there. So we got our trail cuts here, and we're going this way. I'm going to take the slightly longer route because it's a switchback. Take the switchbacks this time. Yeah. So Fit 2 benchmark is a small hilltop along this ridge line here. There's another switchback there. Trying to see. No. Off to an early start today because it's been quite warm around here. Okay. Guess I went a little past. Should have just taken that switchback. This is going to take me back. Alright. You know what? I'll just take this back down to the bottom and follow that trail. Just a little warm up for the ridge climb. It's only going to be a few hundred feet of climbing on this one, so it's not really that bad. So I'll just go back to the base of this and go up that way. That's fine. Alright. Let's see where this goes. Not sure what this is here. Pretty interesting, but not sure. I don't know if this trail will continue, but I think it's actually going to dead end over here. Let's see if it does or doesn't. Yeah. This is interesting. sure what this is. Guess this will be turnaround number 1. Old bunker? Not sure what this is at all, to be honest with you. Just kind of curious, actually. There's steps here. Maybe this was a house? Looks like this might have been a pool or something. I don't know. Kind of curious. I didn't notice this the first time I was here because I went up that way, went up that, and I took the trails above this. Find out a little bit, see if there's any information on this just for curiosity's sake. There's more structure here. Maybe it was a small house. I think locals probably use it as a little biking thing there. It looks like a ramp. Oh. Alright, so this will be stop number 1. If I find any information, I'll put it in a video. Really can't say for sure what that is, but that was sure an interesting little bit of scenery there. So I'm gonna get back on this and head back up the trail. Okay, well, see you on the next clip. See what we find. Okay, so right over here, this is from whence I came before. Now we're gonna bear left to start doing the switchbacks up the hill. I've definitely been here before. Okay, here's a switchback area here, I think. Been here before. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, so I kind of came up this way here. Kept going that way. Whee! A little slippery there. All right. Now we're going up again. So here's the next switchback right here. Okay, let's go up this way. Yeah, see here. It's like a cutoff trail here. But I'm trying to take the switchbacks. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of junctions. It's a very small preserve, so I wouldn't worry about getting lost. I'm just trying to utilize the switchbacks. Could take the main trail going up, but I'm not really super interested in shortening it too much. Let's see what this is first. Water tank? This might have been an old water tank here. Interesting. This might be what this was. Just wanted to see what it was. I guess we'll call that stop 2 on my map. All right. All right. Start working my way up to the ridge line. All right. Overlook here. Yeah. First time I was here, I think I did explore some of this area as well. For now, I'm going to follow this, work my way to the ridge. All right. See you on the next clip. Yeah, I think I remember exploring this side when I came back down. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to follow this main trail. It's going to follow up and along the ridge. So we are in the neighboring city of Lakeside. It's right next to where I live in Santee. So this is a very short drive to get out here. Glad I'm getting out today because next week is going to be very hot and humid. So there's a chance might not make it out for a hike next week. Very good chance. Might be sitting next week out. Not that I like it, but it's just going to be too dang hot. So, again, the high point of this ridge is called Fit 2 Benchmark. I visited that once before. Didn't find a benchmark. Didn't find it. A lot of times in these suburban areas, stuff like that is not treated sacred. Often vandalized, stolen, destroyed, which is a shame. This is a very pleasant hike. Get a little workout. You're climbing up the ridge. You do gain a few hundred feet. So it was a good workout. And it's an area of pretty relatively healthy coastal sage grub habitat. So you have options. You can either use the trail, skirt around to get up to the ridge, or you could use the dirt road, probably utility access, to go more directly up. Probably gonna take the trail, maybe the road on the way back. I think that's what I did last time. It's been over 2.5 years, but I think what I did was went up that, and I think I came down the road, if I remember correctly. I do have a video, if you want to check it out. I went all the way to the Whitaker House, the historical local landmark. All right, so here's our trail split. It goes up the road. This goes up the trail. I'm going to take the trail this time. Just saw a California quail. Alright, this is what I remember doing last time. Could also access the trail from over here too. Use that to connect. But I just took the first one. Okay. Well, keep working my way up this. You hear California gnatcatchers. Kind of faint. Probably won't hear them on camera too well. I'm going to keep working my way up this, and I'll see you at the next find. Found some Chalk Dudleya going into seed. Looks like it's just passes blooming, and they're turning into seed capsules. As we get ready for a quick little switchback here, a little mini switchback. Predominant plants here are San Diego bush sunflower, Bahiopsis laciniata. Foothill California buckwheat, Eriogonum fasciculatum variety foliolosum. And California sagebrush, Artemisia californica. Those are our dominant plants, which are which can be very dominant, which are very dominant in coastal sage scrub, especially the latter two. The former one, the Bahiopsis, can be locally dominant in Diegan coastal sage scrub, San Diego County. Diegan is the southern type of coastal sage scrub that tends to have more diversity than the other types, like northern coastal scrub in central and northern California, Venturan sage scrub, LA County, Ventura County, Santa Barbara, and River City sage scrub in the interior portion, sometimes called interior sage scrub, because it's much further inland. It's not very coastal. Okay. Here we are in the upper part of the ridge now. Once you get past that really steep early part, it becomes a lot more mellow. Again, here you can go to the right, take the road, go to the left, continue on the more single track, which is my plan. Now that we're higher up here, starting to get woodier shrubs now coming into play, like laurel sumac, another coastal sage scrub. Dominant, especially in denser, woodier locations. So one of the dominant, more heavily woody shrubs in coastal sage scrub. There's a fair amount of it up here on the ridge line, mixed in with this foothill buckwheat, and of course in more disturbed open areas, broombaccaris. It's a very common occurrence as well. So I'm actually already near the top. Actually got to look around, and I think I'm near the summit already. Very short walk to get up to the summit. Look to see if I can find anything higher than this. I'm basically already on the summit. Well, this is interesting. There's actually a wooden sign up here, and Fit 2 benchmark is now known as Whitaker Hill. Wow, this is interesting. I didn't know it was even called that. Yeah, on Peak Bagger, this was referred to as Fit 2 benchmark, because there used to be a benchmark up here. I guess Fit 2, but I guess this is a better known name. It sounds like a more official name because it has the word hill at the end of it. Okay, well, the actual high point, the higher point is actually over here. So I'm going to do summit time over here. And it says 755 feet, not 762. All right, well, this is it. Fit 2 benchmark, Whitaker Hill. 762 feet, 755 feet, pretty close. I'm going to do my summit selfie next to that sign. This is the second time I've been up on this one. That sign was definitely not here the first time I was here. I would have noticed it. That's a pretty new sign. Well, that's cool. That is really cool. I like how they put a sign up here. I think that's really, really cool. Cool. All right, well, this is where my summit selfie is going to be. So whoever was cool enough to put this sign here, thanks so much for that. That is so cool. Whitaker Hill, aka Fit 2 benchmark. So there's actually a little use trail leading over here. Let's see where this goes. Oh yeah, it was just put up by a person named Mark T, May 13th of this year, so it's a very new sign. Last time I was up in this area was in 2023. Okay, so there's a little use trail kind of winding its way around. I did kind of explore a little bit of this, and I remember it goes over near that prickly pear, that Mission prickly pear thicket right there. I'm not going to really be able to point out views up here because the marine layer is pretty thick and dense right now. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm not really going to be able to give you a good viewfinder up here, so I guess I'll nix that on this one. But yeah, I remember I did the Shrubs of San Diego County on that massive prickly pear thicket right there. I remember that from the first time I was here. On a clearer, sunnier day, like when I visited here back in 2023, you get some pretty good views up here. Well, here's a benchmark. This is it. This is Fit 2 benchmark. Here it is. It's very hard to read because it's old and faded, but there's actually a triangulation symbol in the middle, and it says Fit 2. So this is Fit 2 benchmark right here. I guess I didn't see this the first time I was up here. Maybe I didn't come around this side. This is not actually on the summit. The summit is up here. But yeah, there is actually a benchmark here. There is a benchmark. I failed to find this the first time I was here. I know it's near the area because I went to that thicket of prickly pear and shot some video over there. But yeah, very small, faint benchmark. If you come up from the summit, find that Whitaker Hill sign, and you'll see a use trail kind of going along. You'll see like a little roped off area. Just follow the trail. The roped off little area will be to your right. Follow this faint trail down to this lookout point. The prickly pear cactus will be on your left. This will be this little slightly rocky section here before a steep drop off, and you will see the benchmark. This is what I wanted to find the first time. So I do like finding the benchmarks. For me, it's kind of cool to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's Fit 2 benchmark. I actually found the benchmark this time. Normally in these suburban areas, I almost never find the benchmark. Usually it gets destroyed, vandalized, stolen, but here it is. But if you do come into the benchmark yourself, don't be that guy, don't be that girl. Just appreciate you found it and respect it. We do get some good views down to Los Coches Road. I started over down that way. You kind of parked behind where the shrubs and trees are down there at the very bottom. So I came from up there, or from down there. Yeah, this is a really cool little preserve. First time I came up here, I did see quite a bit of variety of bird life. So this is a very good birding spot if you're into finding wildlife and stuff. A lot of good bird life up here. I've seen bush tits, I've seen wren tits, California quail. I even saw a greater roadrunner up here the first time I was here, and California gnatcatchers. You'll hear them making mew kind of chirp, kind of mew kind of sounding chirps, kind of almost like a little tiny kitten sound. And I'm pretty sure cactus wrens probably nest in the coast cholla and the different types of prickly pear. These prickly pears I think might be Opuntia occidentalis, but I'm not sure. I never caught these ones in bloom to be able to look at the filaments of the anthers to be able to tell you. But I think the ones we have here might be occidentalis. I think they've been recorded here on California. I think occidentalis and Vasii might have been recorded in this area, as probably as well as littoralis. But yeah, it's a cool little preserve. I think I do want to explore a little bit more of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go take a picture of the benchmark and take a few other pictures, and I'm going to start working my way back to the ridgeline, because there's another little lesser known spot I think that might be accessible just over yonder. I want to explore that if possible. Alright, so I'm leaving the summit area here of Whitaker Hill, aka Fit 2 benchmark. Yep. And this time, successfully having found the benchmark. I'm going to try to see if I can connect to the back side of this reserve. I see a sign over there, so I don't know, but I'm going to take a look and see. There are a lot of little use trails that branch off. A lot of them are probably just a little viewpoints looking over the roughly west face of the ridge. Let's see if I can connect over to that side. Maybe I'll get lucky and find a connector. If not, I'll just have to sling myself over the hill and go further back just to access the road. I do kind of want to see if some of that is explorable as well, because I did see trails connecting over on that side too, and first time I was here I didn't see that. Let's see if I can find a connector trail without creating a new one. Cool. We're calling this Whitaker Hill now, huh? Let's see. I'm pretty sure this will eventually connect near the road. Let's see. I think up ahead there should be a way to connect the dots without taking these little mini use trails that are probably not really well sanctioned. Cool. So this hill has another name to it. Well, I know the Whitaker House is probably, the Whitaker family is well known from around World War II times for the construction of that house at the lower north end of the ridge overlooking Lindo Lake, which is another cool spot here in Lakeside if you're looking for some local flavor. Alright, so I'm going to go bank right here. Bank right down towards the road. And I'm going to probably jog left. Let's see. Yeah, my second time on Fit 2, aka Whitaker Hill. So let's see, it's fenced off over there. This might not be good. Let me see. I thought it was part of the reserve. Let's see what it says. So looks like we're on a connector. So the road goes behind. But I think I remember looking on Google Earth and seeing that there was a trailhead down this way. Habitat Conservation Area. Let's see. I think that was a sign I saw from above. So I want to explore this side. Let me see if this is doable. I think it is. So we're just going to stay on trail, of course. Alright, so I've never been on this part. Okay, so far so good. I didn't see any keep out signs. Open space preserve. Yes, we know. What's that? Oh, I thought that was a rattlesnake. It was a sprinkler. Brian, why are you going towards it? Just wanted to see. Not too close, of course. Let's go see what this area has in store. Alright. See how far I can go on this, I don't know. I've never been to this spot before. So let's see. Do a little exploration up here too. That's pretty interesting. It's a very good coastal sage grub habitat over here. Looks relatively healthy too. I think it looks kind of brown. Well, it's the dry season. Of course, it's going to be brown. It's a natural part of the cycle. There's a nice white sage thicket right here. This one's going into seed. There's a white sage here. This one's been around for a little while. Pretty cool. It's a little steep going down this. I'm gonna take my time. Pretty interesting. Yeah. Until recently, I didn't even really know that this was actually part of the area. Let's see if I can find. Exploring this portion of the Lakeside Linkage Preserve. There's one thing. California California sand aster over here. Corthrogene phylogenifolia, phylogenifolia growing here. Hasn't bloomed yet. Let's see where this goes. Very interesting. Alright, see you on the next clip. Alright, so this is where I came. Now I'm going to branch off on this. Kind of curious where this goes. Looks like there's a trail sign up here too. Oh, this is a pretty pleasant little surprise here. There's a trail sign right here actually, going this way. So, okay, well this is interesting. How in the world is this Gooding's black willow surviving here? This is crazy. This is a willow, a Gooding's black willow, surviving on this bone-dry coastal sage scrub site. It's definitely not the luscious thing I've ever seen, but it's still kicking, alive and kicking. Oh, this is an interesting little spot here. That's definitely a worthy little side trip here. I wonder how far I can take this. So I'm planning on sticking to this for a little while. It's kind of nice, actually. Wow, yeah, this is pretty cool. There's a whole kiosk down there. There's a whole kiosk over here. I wonder if I can go down in the canyon. If so, I planned it. I hope there's a trail down there. This just leads to a cul-de-sac, I think. You can see the informational signs over there as well. Yep, there's a trail down there. Yep. Planning on going down that too. Look at this, a relatively healthy Gooding's willow here. Oh yeah, a little informational kiosk here. So this is a different agency now? Woodridge Habitat Conservation Area. Interesting. So this is a different one. It must be about here somewhere. So, well, this is interesting. This is a different preserve, a different name for this preserve. This isn't the Lakeside Linkage Preserve anymore. So I guess I'm linking to, no pun intended by the way. Yeah, okay. I'm digging this. There's even a Fremont Cottonwood down here. Are you serious? I wonder how these things get going down here. Oh, this is kind of wild. I like this. Yeah, laurel sumacs are getting larger down here. So we're more on the, I think the northeast, is it the southeast? I think the southeast side of the ridge. Yeah, laurel sumacs are getting much larger down this way. Oh, this is kicking. I love this. This is kicking. This is kicking. I love this. This is really dope. Oh yeah, this is pretty nice. Okay, I'll have to ooh, it's a little rutted here. Oh, this is pretty wild. Look at this. Our trail goes down this way. This is pretty gnarly. This is really, really nice. Oh, this is cool. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, coastal sage grub can be quite an adventure. So we got trails going this way. I'll have a little bit of a climb on the way out, but it's all good. I just want to explore as much of this as I can. This is pretty gnarly. I like this. Yeah, there's some interesting property up there. Very nice. Very nice. It's a nice trail. Okay, I have to get a few photos. So it's almost at the bottom of this side. This is nice. This little habitat conservation area is pretty sick. Wow, this is a very pleasant surprise. It's a little more extensive than I thought it was going to be, and you know what? I'm here for it. Yeah, I recognize that hill over there. Took a picture of it previously. On that side of the hill, on that shoulder, there's the letters EC, I'm guessing for El Capitan. I passed that. That's right above Highway 67. Up there's the Whitaker House. That's the historic Whitaker House. I don't know if I'm going to be going all the way over there, but maybe I will, because definitely not feeling ready to end this. I know I have a bit of a climb on the way back, but you know what? It's all good, because this is really a very interesting hike. Very interesting hike here. Yeah, there's a lot more to this area. Yeah, you just gotta stay on the trail. So, wow, this is amazing. This is an amazing little spot here. There's a little small, there's even an old car wreck right there. That's interesting. That's a really old rusty car wreck. I think it's been there for decades. This would be a cool way to climb up Fit 2 benchmark. Yeah, so I was just saying. Stay on the trail. This is dope. This is some crazy stuff here. This is quite literally one area that's too legit. Okay, there's laurel sumac here. This one's pretty decent sized. We're coming out near a road, I think. Wow. The connection between these two preserves definitely much more. Ooh, just walked right into a spider web. Hey, ay, ay. Sorry, buddy. Hey, there's a lot of connections between these preserves. Really opens up into something pretty special. Very much a fan of this. There's another trail going that way. I think this leads out near a school. I don't know, you can come this far down. As long as you're staying on the trail, you should be fine. This is quite literally a really cool little hiking haven down here. There's a school campus there, so this will basically be my turnaround point. But basically, you're coming down near this element. I think I'm guessing this is Tierra del Sol Middle School. So right here by this middle school. Crazy. Yeah, there's Hilltop. Hilltop and the Whitaker House right up there. Hilltop is just up there, and the Whitaker House is just below it. It's like a little miniature park up there. Wow. Wow, this is an incredibly cool area. I'm sure glad I came over here. Wow. Boy, this is definitely a hidden gem over here. Just be respectful. Stay on the trail here. But most of all, while doing that, enjoy. This is very, very enjoyable hiking. You must just get enough moisture underneath to support willows occasionally growing here. Looks like we're going to cross this small arroyo here. Wow. Wow. Still a little moisture in the soil down here. I wonder if I can loop back up the hill this way. There's another trail here. Here's a trail going up this way. Let's see where this goes. Just really quickly. Yeah, out by this road here. Not gonna bother going all the way to the road. There's really no point of it. Okay, I just was curious. A lot of this is based on curiosity because I've never been over on this part before. Alright, so looks like I might be making a loop out of this because I came along that rim, then down underneath that there, well underneath that rim, down over by the school, then along this here. Now I'm going to go back up this way and connect to the top. Maybe connect to the top, I'm guessing. Wow, this is very interesting out here. I'm going to start climbing up this and shoot a few pictures along the way, it looks like. Okay, there's another coastal sage scrub denizen. Good old spiny redberry. Rhamnus crocea. Starting to get that now. Wow. This is a pretty cool little preserve here too. Sometimes these little spots are, well, actually just about every time I come to one of these little spots, it's super fun. Now I'm on the other side of the canyon, so I got to explore, got to climb up a ridge, summit a hill, and now I'm looping through a canyon. 3 things I really like to do during my activities: summit something, descend something, loop, doing loops. Yeah, these laurel sumacs are really nice. So this hike has consisted of a good few of the elements I like during hiking: ridgeline walking, summit climbing, and canyon exploration. So this has definitely turned out to be one heck of a W. This is definitely a W little spot here. See, earlier I was down on that side of the canyon. Now I'm going up this side. I like this. I like this very much. The aroma out here is incredible. The soil, the dried grasses, the California sagebrush. Yeah, very pleasant olfactory experience as well. Well, I'm going to keep climbing up this, and I'll see you on the next clip. Alright, looks like I'm back in familiar territory now. Looks like I just completed a loop back up to here now. So I completed a small balloon loop at the bottom of this. So I remember this spot here. Oh, cool. Just made a small loop. Went down. Then I went down a connector trail to that side, down to about there, came back up this way. So I just made a loop out of this. Okay, it's another thing I like while hiking, is making loops when I can. So that's another element I like. Okay, well, I'll take this W happily. All right. All right. See if I find any more little spots. All right. Working my way back up from this little side trip here. Pretty easy climb getting back up here. That's from whence I came. Now, I'm going to check out this side here. I'm definitely not ready to end this yet. Probably get a good few hundred feet of elevation gain today. But I just want to explore. Look at this whole laurel sumac. This one's had some staying power. So magnificent laurel sumac. This is a stunningly beautiful specimen here. We got California fuchsia. Oh, it's already starting to bloom. Hello. Oh, Epilobium conum, subspecies conum. It's already starting to bloom. Or actually, this has already been blooming for a while, but yeah, we're getting more flower buds here. This is a great plant. Great habitat plant. Honeysuckle-like flowers. The honeysuckle-looking flowers are loved by the hummingbirds. All right. Now, this is an incredible preserve. I was just down in that canyon a few minutes ago. This is pretty wild. I like this. I like this very much. We got a massive patch of white sage coming up over here too. I wonder where this road's gonna go. I'm kind of curious. Oh yeah, look at this white sage. When this thing flowered, it still got a few flowers left on it. Way past its peak. Most of these are going into seed by now, I would assume. You still have a few flowers left here and there. This is a pretty big one too. Very impressive white sage. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, like I said, a lot of times you don't even have to go. You don't even have to leave suburbia to really have an adventure. If you set your mind to it, you'll have it. That's why I like exploring these little nook and cranny type places, because you might be surprised what you find. I mean, I've been enjoying every little minuscule speck of this area. Like I said, these little places tucked into these local neighborhoods, and you could really just have at it. Yeah, I got some more chopped Dudley over here. Yeah. So I don't mind hiking in suburbia, because if you look for it, adventure that is, you can find it, believe me. And I found no short of it on this short drive from my house in Santee. Alright, well, keep going down this and see where this ends. This is kind of the end of it here, I believe. This little power line right here. We're just going to loop around the side of it here. And we got an Australian silk oak right here, Grevillea robusta. Not a true oak, but a Proteaceae member. It's got seeds on it, seed capsules. These little follicles here. During the spring, they get these orange flowers, yellowish orange flowers. And in the summer and fall, these little follicles have seeds in them. This is Grevillea robusta from Australia. Fairly commonly planted here. These ferny-like leaves. It's definitely not an oak. Not related to the oaks. We've got a little trail here. Let's see where this goes. It just leads down to a neighborhood. I'm just going to follow it for the heck of it. I feel like I'm committed to it today. Just want to see where this leads. Out of curiosity. I'm going to get too close to private property, but this has been a cool place. Alright. I don't want to go any further than this, I don't think. Really nice. Okay, so we're right above these eucalyptus trees here. I don't want to get too close. Just had to explore it a little bit. Okay. Time to go back up the road. There's a Whitaker House again. Nice. What a handsome silk oak. Let's get some pictures too. All right. Just about back to Maine. Lakeside Linkage. That was pretty cool. That was a nice adventure. That was nice. Very beautiful. Up towards Fit 2, aka Whitaker Hill. That's so cool. That guy, that person, guy, lady, put that sign at the top. So glad I explored this side. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. It was a good adventure. Now, I'm going to go back to the trail. I think I will go to the Whitaker House. Just to get a little extra distance in this morning. Just for the heck of it. Okay, I'm going to branch off to the right. Start heading down this way. Okay, so we're going to go over some rolling terrain. After this, I think I will put in a pretty fair amount of elevation gain today for a relatively short trip out here, which is kind of good. I went up and down that side a couple times already. Did a down and up loop, and then another side trip down and up. So I put in a few hundred feet of elevation gain over there, plus what I did to get up from Los Coches Road to Whitaker Hill, aka Fit 2. And there'll be some rolling ups and downs along this to get me to the Whitaker House. Now, I was mentioning earlier something about Peak 980, Hill 980, which is actually a part of an extension of the reserve. And there it is over there in the kind of the bottom of the cloud scraping it. It's actually a parcel of Lakeside Linkage over there as well. I was almost going to go over there today too, but I'll probably go back up there another time. Alright, Whitaker House is not that far away. I do remember there were a couple of really nice viewpoints along this ridge here. So, like last time, I think I'm going to go stop off at them and take a look around. Just remember, this is just a really fantastically beautiful preserve here. People who live underneath it are blessed to have this behind their backyards. And I don't live that far away. 15-minute, barely a 15-minute drive, if even that. A 10-15-minute drive from my house. And that's just going on surface streets. So this is definitely a W place. We got a couple lookouts up here. I'm gonna go branch off to them and see at them. Okay, we're just about at the first lookout. Do a hard left from the main trail. This will take us to a small lookout. That's about 700 feet in elevation. It's not really a peak, but it's a small rise to get up here. Got a little lookout knoll. I remember I did this the first time I was here. Always worthy of a side trip if you're in the area. Be right on the edge of this rocky area here. Yep. It's a nice little lookout here. Yep. This is one of them. Yeah, I like this spot. Oh, that prickly pear kind of fizzled out on us. Yeah, that prickly pear was a lot healthier the first time I was here, if I remember correctly. You got some pretty good views up here. I was hoping to explore some of these hills on this ridge line here too. Maybe connect that with Hill 980. Maybe if I do what I did last week and do it really early in the morning, next week I might be able to link that together as well. There's Peak 980 right there with the water tower on it, and I can connect it through a couple of streets, and one of those is an 860-foot knoll. I think it's that one there. I call it Hill 860. I think it might be that one, or it might be that over there. I think it's actually that one. It's a little further off. Hill 860. I'd like to try that. Maybe next week if I get an early start before the heat kicks in, because next week's going to be much hotter. But this is a very good lookout right here. Very good lookout spot right here. Very, very good views towards Los Coches Road, which is down below us. I'm parked kind of way over there, like I said. And then there's a Fit 2, aka Whitaker Hill, up there. And you can't even see it from here because we're a little bit higher, but right where those trees are, that's where Whitaker House is, and there's a small little mini summit called Hilltop, which I'm going to actually go to visit next. Great views up here. This is definitely worthy of a few pictures. I like the rocky outcrops up here. I just wish people would not mess around and degrade them. I'm not going to leave the trail and scramble these rocks because I'm going to stay on trail, but I'm going to get a few pictures of this. Okay, so there's our main trail. I'm back on it, having left that small viewpoint. I think there's a small viewpoint around here too. Yeah, here's the other little mini viewpoint here. Oh, look at this California bricklebush, Burkelia californica. Did see a few of these in that little side canyon over there. There were a few off on the side. Okay, so I'm just going to go up to this little lookout over here. Oh, the fragrance of the California sagebrush. Okay, here's our other little miniature lookout. Just a quick little low-grade rock scramble to get up here. Here we go. Here's our next little lookout with a little mini, very low-grade class 2 little quickie walk up here. It actually kind of feels like a little miniature peak. It does rise up maybe about 30-35 feet above the local terrain. I'll take a little mini selfie here, but I don't know if I'm going to consider this summit time too. But yeah, there's that canyon I explored down there. Did a loop, did a down and up loop, and then another down, out, and back. That was a nice little side trip there. Definitely worthy. And in there is where Hilltop is. Right over there. Pretty neat. So that's where Hilltop is, and that's where I'll be going next. And then I'll go swing around the Whitaker House. All right. I'm gonna get a little selfie up here. A cool quick little scramble up here. Very easy. Barely, I don't even know if you can call it class 2. You just hop over the rocks. I don't even have to use my hands. Okay, now it's time to start heading down. So after leaving that little scrambly viewpoint, turn left to go down the main park trail, head down towards a saddle between Whitaker Hill, Fit 2 benchmark, and Hilltop. There's that little access road, but I'll be taking the trail along the other side of it. Let me say, this has been an extremely enjoyable outing out here, and I'm managing to get some elevation gain on this. I might make another out and back on the way, either way back up or I don't know. There is another trail that branches off and heads down towards a neighborhood. Did that the first time I was here as well. Might go for it again, just to add a little flavor and a little distance and a little elevation gain, so I can really feel I've explored this area pretty thoroughly. So we'll see about that. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, I remember the last time I was here, this area was gated off. There's another sign by that person, Team Mark. Whitaker Hill, elevation 625. That same person put a sign over here. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, a 625 foot elevation. Doesn't look like this road's closed. I wonder if on the way back I'll just come down this. Interesting. First, oh, bush tits. Little bush tit birds. This is cheerful. So, this is the fork. This takes you down to the suburban area. I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to go up to Whitaker. The Whitaker House. So I'm going to do this again. Like I said, I feel like exploring this as thoroughly as possible, so I'm going to go down and back up this and get a little more elevation gain today. All right, down I go. There's several of these signs here. I guess somebody's cat is missing since June 5th, but sighted in this area on the 18th of last month. It's a 718 area code. That's a New York. That's part of New York City. That's part of New York. 718. Huh. Interesting. Maybe somebody's cell phone. Maybe somebody who lived in New York. Because when I first moved, I lived in New Jersey for 8 years in my 20s, and when I moved, and I had a 908 cell phone, a 908 cell phone number, and I had the 908 area code for several years after moving from New Jersey to California. 908 is central and northern New Jersey, so I lived in northern New Jersey. So I had that area code for several years, even when I lived out here in Southern California after moving back. So I was born out here in Southern California, but I lived in New Jersey for 8 years. Moved back when I was 30. I was back in 2013, and I've been here ever since. So that person's got a New York area code. Maybe that person, and I hope whoever that person is finds his or her cat. I've been through that myself, having had cats run off before. So I know that feeling. Hopefully that person is able to find his or her cat. And if I see the cat, I'll definitely call the number. But I haven't seen any cats on the hike today. Alright, well, down I go. Take this down to the neighborhood, take it back up, hit the Whitaker House, and then start going along a little small roller coaster ridge back to the car. Very beautiful area over here. This old growth white sage. Look at this. Look at that. That is absolutely phenomenal. I love when these things get big and their stems get a lot woodier with age. Oh, yeah. Think about coastal sage scrub, man. You can find some really nifty stuff in it. I'm almost down at the bottom of this preserve. I think I'll stop here, though. I don't think I need to go all the way over there. Okay, well, we're up through this little turnstile thing here. Yeah, I think this is wood. It looks like wood, but it's actually rock. There it is, Lakeside Linkage Preserve. Okay, well, back up this slope I go. Just couldn't help but go back down and up this one again. Well, I'll see you up the way. So you get near the top of the rise and start bouncing around to get to Whitaker House. My final turnaround of the day, I believe. I'll start heading back. All right, back up here at the junction. It's the main trail. Going back up towards Whitaker Hill, aka Fit 2. This take me towards Whitaker House and Hilltop. Glad I'm getting some beneficial exercise today. Yesterday I didn't do anything. Slept most of the day. Might see if I can take the road down just to vary it up a little. Okay. Here we go. Towards Hilltop and Whitaker House. There's the road. Try to see if I can take that on the way down, just to vary it up a little bit. We'll see. Won't be that much longer. Yeah, I remember this little sign right here about the cedar fire. That's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna follow this single track. Should lead me to the Whitaker House, and then backtrack a little bit to Hilltop to get to my second hilltop of the day, second peak of the day. Alright, we are just about at the Whitaker House. Passing by a nice little area of coastal sage scrub before we get out to the actual house. Almost at the historic Whitaker House. Just right over here. Passing under these river red gums. Oh yeah, I remember this fat chopped Dudley right here. I remember that. All these sage scrub plants going right out of this concrete berm here. Okay. Here we are. Last couple steps up to the Whitaker House. Little historical part of Lakeside in San Diego County. All right, historic Whitaker House. Looks like they light it around Christmas time. What do we got here? Look at this. Look at this little guy. Looks like an Italian stone pine. Nice. Yep. This is a historical Whitaker House from the 1930s. I remember the Whitaker family quarried these rocks out of the general vicinity to make this stone wall house, which is quite impressive. So this is our good old Whitaker House from over 80 years ago. Between 80 and 90 years ago. Here we go. It's called the Hilltop. Mildred and Hale Whitaker. Yes, indeed. Yep. Mildred was the one who landscaped the area around here over 80 years ago. She's the one who landscaped the plants, the gardening, and stuff like that. Whereas Mr. Hale Whitaker is the one who quarried the rock for this really cool little house. You can kind of look a little bit inside. Look at that. Just be careful, just don't break in or anything. Just enjoy looking at it. Yeah, you can see all the old stovetop appliances from back in the day. It's really cool. So just when you're up here, just be respectful. Just respect the property. Don't dig out the plants and everything. Just be respectful. Also, just enjoy a part of the history. Yes, so this is where I was before. This is that canyon. This is that small canyon. I went down to about there, then looped back up, and took another small out and back over there, which is really nice. It's really cool. And then over there, more of the hills of good old Lakeside. And over that way is where Whitaker Hill, aka Fit 2, is located. Now, one thing I like about this little spot is some of the plant choices that are here. This right here is Mexican Palo Verde, Parkinsonia aculeata. These are the legumes, as it is a member of the pea family of the Fabaceae and the Papilionoideae subtribe. The really ornate petaled flowers are indicative of Papilionoideae. And a California native, not native to this side really, but the desert side, this is creosote bush. I remember the first time I was here seeing this Laria tridentata. Yep, creosote bush, and those are the seed capsules. So yeah, Laria tridentata. I remember this creosote bush. Now I'm gonna go take a couple pictures, and then I'm gonna go up to that little miniature park there, and that's where Hilltop is. That's where the summit is. We're not quite at the summit, we're almost there. Alright. Let's go summit this little thing. The hill, the peak is just right up here in this little miniature park. It's like a little mini park here. There's the name Whitaker. Alright, let's go up this little step well. Let's see. Okay, quick little rock hop. I gotta get over there, go around the other side, I think. There's a little nature rock scramble up here. Come around from this side. Let's see. Ooh, this site, it might be class 2 or class 3. Let's see. Okay, well, we can get a little class 2 rock scrambling out of this today. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. All right. This is it. Hilltop. About 675 feet, 690, depending on whom you believe. Google Earth shows us closer to 675. There's our beautiful Whitaker house. Yeah. It's a little bit of a rock scramble to get up to this peak here. A little class 2 section there. Pretty interesting though. Alright, get my summit selfie up here, take a couple pictures, and start getting ready to head back. Nice little sumac here on the top. Yep, you even get a little rock scramble to get to the top of Hilltop. a little tricky class 2 over here to get over to this. Could have probably just hopped in from this side here. But yeah, Hilltop and Fit 2 benchmark, aka Whitaker Hill. The Whitaker name is pretty well endowed in this area. You know, again, there's that little canyon I hiked earlier. Very beautiful canyon. Lots of little botanical treasures there that make that side trip so worth it. But again, a more thorough exploration of this than I did the first time, and I'm glad I did. Alright, well, I'm going to get ready to start heading back. I think I might take the road. I might see if I can take the road back. I didn't see any keep out signs. I think it's because there was construction going on was the reason why the area was closed the first time. But I think I might try to see if I can hop over these rocks to get down this side here. That first little bit coming up was a little tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and head back this way and start heading down. Time to start making my way back. Pretty cool. I'm glad I made it up here again. I didn't know if I was going to go all the way out here, but I'm glad I did. Alright, well, start getting ready to head back. Gotta do some class 2 rock scrambling to get back over these rocks. Probably just going to go this way, duck under the laurel sumac, and just go down this easy. Should be easy to get around that side there. Alright, time to start heading back down. Guess I'm going to see if I can take the road. Just to vary up the scenery. That was cool. Quick little rock scramble. Yeah, here's the road. Take this down and see. Vary up the scenery a little bit. I do have a couple of hills to climb over, including Fit 2 / Whitaker. So I got a little bit of elevation gain on the way back. Probably close to about 140, 150 feet of elevation gain left. So I get to see this side here. Pretty nice. This actually looks like a little bit of a shorter way. On the other side, you kind of wind around and stuff, which is cool because you get to see some pretty neat stuff along the way too, and it's pretty nice, just nice. And there's one of the small lookouts right up there. You can't even see the top of Whitaker Hill / Fit 2 benchmark from here, but it is up that way. So I do have a little bit of distance to go. I have a little bit of elevation gain, which is fine because this has been a pretty nice little bit of a workout in spots. There's some steep areas, and the route I took required bits of ups and downs, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted to get some ups and downs today. At least get a little elevation gain. But yeah, at least this area was open this time. There was no fence like back in 2023. So it looks like I made a little miniature loop around around the Whitaker House in Hilltop. We got some white sage growing here too. Okay, so we're just about to rejoin the dirt track. Go through this little culvert here. Now we're back here. I want to go to this little lookout here and see what this says over here. See what there is over here. See what there is over here. I think we got a Kuyamaka cypress over here, I think. It might be. Wow, look at that. Nice views here too. Alright, well, I'm going to go head back to the actual trail. Nice little viewing platform here. So back that way is Hilltop, and up this way is back to Fit 2. So here we go. Time to start climbing again. Back up the hill. Luckily the marine layer still held on pretty strong, which is great. Alright, see you along the way. Alright, had a gang of bush tits flying across the path. That first time I was here, there were a gang of them here too. Alright, so we're going to bank left, so this goes to that second overlook. Okay, so we have a little up and down along this way. See the low clouds are lifting. There's peak 980 again. I've been up there once. Wouldn't mind going up there again, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. I got to work tomorrow. The last couple weeks of work have been extremely taxing. So I kind of want to spend the rest of the day relaxing, because I know next week will be just as strenuous as this one that just passed was for me. So I'll just enjoy the views from along the ridge line. Ay, ay, ay. And we'll see. Got a nice little short uphill coming up. Like I said, I was probably looking at about 150 feet from that low point there, the saddle between Fit 2 and Hilltop. Looking at about 150 feet gain to get back over the summit of Fit 2. It's all good. Like I said, I was looking to get a little extra elevation gain today. So I did all the side trips that I did. All right. The next little climb is coming up, and I might just take the road, the power line road, back to vary up the scenery again. All right, so I'm back up on the higher part of the ridge line. So now, just a little bit up and down. Most of the climbing is done. We'll have a little amount over here to get up to the peak area. I don't think I'm going to go over the peak. I think I'm going to take the road just to vary it up a little bit. Let's see if I can connect to the road from here. Very beautiful hike. Nice little slice of paradise within suburbia. So the people who live under here get to come up here anytime. Just get on that road and amble up. It's a very pleasant ridge walk, and if you decide to explore the whole spot, you'll get in a few miles of hiking, A, and B, you'll get a little elevation gain. If you decide to explore more thoroughly the area, you get some nice scenery. Some good views. Fragrant plants. A little bit of history. Some canyon action. And you get a little bit of a workout. It's not a strenuous hike by any stretch. Combining all the side trips like I did would make this upper easy, maybe low moderate. Here we are. So I'm not on the road, so I'm back at Whitaker Hill, aka Fit to Benchmark area. There's our sign from earlier. So maybe that spot is 755. Maybe the high point over here still is 762. But so we're back over Fit 2. Now let's see if I can connect over to the road. Let's see. Should be able to somewhere near here, I think. The road's just right over here. Should be able to make a trail connection to it, I would think. Let's see. Here's the road and the little protective dog. Let's go take the road down. Alright, so I'm going down the road now. Alright. I think I might have gone down this way the first time too, if I remember correctly. Here's Hill 980. One of these days. I want to go up to that one too. I think that one over there. I think that right there is Hill 860. I think it's that one. Not the one in the background. That's Rattlesnake Mountain, but right there is, I think, Hill 860. And I think that might be accessible too, possibly. All right. So yes, I'm going to take the road down. I think it might go down towards this one side street called Hahana. An interesting name. So we'll see about that. Ooh, these people got a whole grove of Aleppo pines. Even a small coast live oak sapling under there. Right there, that's a little coast live oak. Cool. That's pretty nice. But yeah, these guys got a whole little grove of Aleppo pines in their side yard. Talk about W. Talk about a W vibe. Got a nice little conifer grove in their side yard. Pretty nice. There's a sign up ahead. That gate. Wonder what that is. Who knows? This might be another out and back. We'll see. We'll find out soon. That's down towards Hahana Road. Down there. Looks like this is another access point to the Lakeside Linkage Preserve up this little side trail here, like one of those little hop over turnstile things, whatever you want to call those. Here's a connecting trail here in case access is denied over there, which is possible. Okay. Yeah, I think that says no trespassing there, so. I think I'm gonna use this trail to skirt past that. And then I think over there. So I guess I will kind of work my way around this. First of all, Look at these gorgeous Coast Choyas. Got a whole big patch of Coast Choya here. Whole stand of it here. Pretty big ones too. Alright, so I'll go ahead and link back up this way. Back to the trail. Just about back at the trail. Okay. Yeah, just stay on trail. Whatever you do. Here's this little area here, I remember. I think people would use this for bikes, bike ramps and stuff. Yeah, I can kind of tell. Yeah, you can kind of tell. They're built up for BMX bikes over here. Can't believe the rain layers held on this long. It's pretty good that it did. It's kept the temperatures very nice. Huh. It's not even. It's just about 8:15. I got started probably about probably close to 5:45 this morning, I think. Is about when I started. Most of the way back now. It's one of our little lookout points over there. That was a cool lookout point right there. So yeah, got a quite early start today. Started hiking I think just before 6 a.m. Glad I did. Glad I got out and got an early start today. And I didn't have to drive extremely far to get out here. Yeah. Look at that. That's very handsome. Lots of beautiful prickly pear cactus here. I'm not going to go touching spines to see what type that is. Kind of looks like coast prickly pear. The pads are kind of thick and the spines are pretty long, but I did see some spines that had flat cross section, little flattened cross section, indicating probably Opuntia occidentalis and possibly Opuntia vacei. But I imagine they're all here. I think Calflora shows them all being in this area, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's a cool Hill 80 right there, or 980, Hill 980. Been up that one once. Might head up next week. Maybe do a really early morning hike like today. All you gotta do is just follow Los Coches and then turn and head up Wellington Hill Drive. It'll take you to the base of the hill and a short, less than a mile and a half hike. Less than a mile and a half of a hike to and from, unless you decide to loop around. There are little side trails and everything, so I might do that if I get an early enough start. Okay, so now we're going to start the main descent. We're going to be leaving this beautiful place and I'll start making my way down. Alright, I can see where I'm parked on Los Coches. That white SUV right there is my car. Right behind that red truck with the big trailer. So we got a little bit of a descent. And there's some pretty decently large blue elderberries on the way back. I'll check those out. Man, this was fun. This was definitely fun. Should have done it yesterday, but I'm glad I got out, at least got a hike in this week. I'm glad I got at least a hike in this week, so I didn't miss out completely. Alright. There's that little round structure there. Definitely some steep sections on this hike. Could dig that directly, but I prefer to take the switchbacks. There's a switchback here. There's also this over here too. Let's see. See where this goes. There's Los Coches. I'm really close to the car. Like I said, I'm just looking to see if there's any little added flavor I can tag on to this little adventure. So if you're in the area, I very, very highly recommend checking out Lakeside Linkage Preserve. Very highly recommend this. This is a really fun trail system here. You can go climb to a couple summits, hike a ridge line, see some great botany and some potentially amazing wildlife, get some history, go down some canyons, just overall get a good workout. If you don't want to do anything extremely strenuous, or you don't want to go way out to the middle of Timbuktu, this is a really peaceful early morning adventure. I didn't come across any hikers really close to me this entire hike. On the weekend, I imagine you get a few people. You get some people here, but on a peaceful weekday morning like this, it's pretty chill. All right, let's get back down. We're almost there. I'll show you some blue elderberries up ahead. Nice little rock cairn right here. There's some pretty handsome blue elders. Look at these. Wow, look at these blue elders. Sambucus caerulea. Very handsome. I like how the undergrowth is trimmed. A lot of times these things will be all the way down to the ground and there'll be a lot of other vegetation next to it, but yeah, look at these. Some older Sambucus caeruleas. And these ones have stayed green longer. There are several smaller specimens up on the hillside that have mostly shed their leaves for the summer dry season. But here, they've managed to stay green and lush much longer. Ooh, and the flowers have such a pleasant fragrance, almost kind of like a carnation-like smell. Took a picture of that one there. Look at these. These are beautiful. Yeah, I like this. I just had to take a look at that. Here's another smaller one right here. Very handsome. So far, there must be an underground source of water for them to stay green like that. And I remember from the last time I was here, looks like they trimmed it There's a really healthy looking California sycamore right there. There must be an underground source of water here. Then we got some mourning doves. Yeah. This was a really, really fun hike. I'm going to get in my car at about 8:20. Very peaceful day. And I noticed they've been planting coast live oaks along here. They were, when I came here in 2023, the end of 2023, they were planting them. Here's another mourning dove right here. Hello, birdie buddy. It makes funny sounds when their wings flap. Yeah. Let's go take a look at this sycamore really quickly. Yeah, this is a pretty old one. I bet you this is one organism too. But it looks like this one was trimmed. I think it was much taller than this. Look at the base. And the bark is all chipped and furrowed like that. You know it's been around for a long time. Then you get the little bark higher up. Here, Platanus racemosa. Look at how enormous the leaves are on these juvenile sprouts. Look at that. That is a massive leaf. These leaves are huge. And one thing about California sycamore is the leaves, the fuzzy, especially the fuzzier leaves, have a really soft, beautiful aroma. Very woodsy. This is one of our main trees, one of the largest trees below the mountains here in Southern California. So there we are. It's looking up towards Fit 2. Fit 2 is just above that rise there. Really great day out here. The sun's actually coming out now. So I made it down before the heat started kicking in. Luckily we had a pretty nice marine layer this morning. It's the first time the sun's been out. Well, yes, like I said, they've been planting coast live oaks here a couple of years ago. I'm hoping that these are going to make it. They look like they're in pretty rough shape. I'm hoping. So here's the end of the preserve. Just got to walk up just the road to my car. I should be there in a couple minutes. So this is basically going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed coming along on this one. Definitely a place worthy of a visit. Like I said, there's an extension area up there. Extension area over by Peak 980. Might go there next week. Alright. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed this hike as much as I enjoyed showing it. And I'll see you on the next one.